at night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long live the world and say the near pining to hear peace, and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices when yonder break a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine. Oh, night, what a night divine. Yeah, yeah. Truly, He taught us to love one another. His word was love, and His message was peace. Same child He prayed for, the slave is our brother, and in His name all the sorrow shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy and grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise His holy name. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine.
Welcome. This is Star Radio UK.
What a night divine. Whoa. On your knees, yeah. Oh,
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and compliments of the season. Merry Christmas in advance and a Happy New Year. in advance as well. It has been an amazing year, absolutely amazing year, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who has tuned in week after week to this program, the BB Means Business Show. So great welcome once again, and this is the last show for the year. I'm tired, so I gotta get some rest over Christmas, and I'm sure you do too. But I have a good show for you as always, and so today I want to talk a little bit about publishing a book. As most of you know, I've just published my second book, Wealth Creation God's Way. Wealth Creation God's Way. Now, writing a book does wonders for establishing you as an expert in whatever space that you are operating in. It really does. It establishes you as the go-to person in that industry. So writing a book is a good idea, no matter what area or what space you're operating in. As long as you're an entrepreneur, if you ever have the ability to write a book, then I would encourage you to do that. As you know, I'm really into developing different income streams, and having a successful book will establish another income stream for you, so I'm all for it. But people often ask me, Bibi, should I have a book launch, or should I just start to sell it on Amazon or something like that? And I would say, of course, have a book launch. Of course, have a book launch. But oftentimes people don't know where to even start with having a book launch. So I thought today I would give a few tips on what to do to have a successful book launch, because I've just had one. I had one a couple of weeks ago, and people are still speaking about it. I'm still seeing it all over the place online. People are ringing me to say how much they enjoyed it, how it was different from any ones that they've been to. So I thought I'd share some insider tips as to how to organize a memorable book launch. So today's program, once again, you are welcome. Today's program is called How to Organize a Killer Book Launch. How to organize a killer book launch. And I hope you're ready. Okay. So the first thing that I would encourage you to do is to have a budget. Have a budget. Now, when you have a budget, remember that the whole point of the book launch is to sell books, is to make you money. So don't go overboard with your budget. Try to keep it as small as possible. Whatever is not necessary, you don't need it in the book launch. So keep your budget as tight as possible. There's no point in spending ridiculous amounts of money on a book launch, because it totally defeats the object of the book launch. So let's start from the very beginning. Once you've done that, you will need to pick a venue. You will need to pick a venue. Now, I think that the venue should be determined by the topic of your book. So my book is called Wealth Creation God's Way. You can see it on the right hand side of your screen, Wealth Creation God's Way. And so it was aimed primarily, not exclusively, but primarily at Christians who want to find ways to develop wealth, to build wealth, to grow wealth, but do it with integrity and do it God's way, do it according to biblical principles. So it made sense to have it in a church, because that was my target audience. If, for instance, you are writing, let's say you are writing a book about how to help women who have been abused domestically, then it might be an idea to look for an organization that caters or offers services to abused women, or like women's shelters, and ask if they have an office that you could use, and hire one of the rooms there and hold your launch there. So the point I'm trying to make is that the title of your book should determine where you have your book launch, or your target audience should determine where you have your book launch. So let's say you're talking about how to invest. If you could have an office in a bank, if they have an office in a bank, perhaps your bank manager could organize it, something like that. But let it be related to the topic that you're speaking about. That makes more sense and will attract your target audience, because your target audience will already be there. So that's the first thing. The second thing, the third thing. The first thing was to have a budget. The third thing now is visit the venue and familiarize yourself with the layout. Okay, so actually go there. Don't just take pictures. Even if you're hiring someone to organize it for you, go there yourself. and see the layout. Make sure that you're happy with the layout and you know where you want, begin to visualize where you want everything put. Especially if you're likely to use more than one room, which I did. I used 2 floors and more than one room. So be aware where you want everything positioned. Okay, this is where I want the books positioned. This is where I want the MC. This is where I want whatever it is that you're doing. Make sure that you have that clarity way before the actual date. Because on the day, too many things are happening. Something inevitably goes wrong. Your attention is drawn in 1,000 different places. You don't have time for that. So in my case, I actually visited the venue 3 times. Excuse me. I actually visited the venue 3 times to envision what I wanted to do, to make sure that where I wanted to put everything, it would make sense to put it there. Things like backdrops are very important. What do I want in the back? Do I want a wall-to-wall backdrop that you can get done, or do I want a roller banner in the background, or what is it that I want? Because backdrops are quite important, particularly for your branding. So those kind of things are important to you to go and see, so you can visualize it. If you are hiring an event planner, ensure that your event planner goes with you when you go to visit it, so that they can talk through their vision and you can exchange ideas. Because sometimes event planners have a completely different vision from what you want. So it's important that you are comfortable with whatever they are envisioning for your event. And if you're not, then you can make your own suggestions. I had a couple of, although I didn't have an event planner, but I had a couple of people go along with me and made some suggestions that, yes, sounded good, but were not really me, if you know what I mean. They were not really me, and it's important for me to be authentic to who I am when I'm doing things like this. So yes, it's important that you visit, and if you're having an event planner, make sure that you walk through every step of it with your event planner. Okay. If there are other people that are going to be involved on the day, where possible, also have them visit with you. It might not always be possible. So perhaps you're having a DJ or something like that. They may not be able to go, but it's important that you talk through what each person that is going to be involved on the day, what they need. So your DJ, how many microphones does he need? What kind of PA system does he need? What kind of speakers does he need? How many speakers does he need? Whereabouts in the room does he want them positioned? Those kind of things are very, very important. Like I said, on the day you will not have the time. So it's very, very important that you get those kind of things finalized before the actual day. Okay. Having said that, I would encourage you to have a DJ or someone that can play music. Because as we all know, music kind of breaks the tension in the atmosphere. You know, it creates a mood in the atmosphere, a vibe in the atmosphere, and you really want that. What you don't want is people to just be sitting there looking at each other, or in some cases where they don't even know each other, they're avoiding looking at each other, and the whole atmosphere is kind of dull and boring. You don't want that. You want it to be lively. So even the playlist, talk through the playlist with whoever is handling the music, whether you're DJ or somebody else. Talk through the playlist, so let them know the kind of music that you want. I had 2 specific songs that I wanted played, because those 2 songs, I don't know, they just energized me, so I definitely wanted those played. And so we talked through all that before the day. So if you have specific songs that you want played, let them know, so they don't play the wrong kind of music for your crowd, because it's important that you cater for the kind of crowd that you have invited. Then when you decide that, it's important that you check that the venue has the facilities that you need. So for instance, does the venue have a PA system? So when I first of all started organizing the launch, the venue that I originally wanted to use, I discovered about 2 weeks before the event that they didn't have a PA system. And by the time I costed how much it was going to cost me to go and hire a PA system, how much it was going to cost to go and hire a DJ to work with that PA system, it was just too much. It didn't make economic sense. Again, you have to remember that you are trying to keep your costs down, keep your overhead low and your profit high. So the whole point of the launch is to make money and to sell and market the book, not to spend money unnecessarily. So I just thought, well, it makes no sense, so I picked another venue. So don't assume Don't assume that the venue has the things that you need. Make sure that you ask questions from those you're hiring the venue from, and you actually visit. Because let's say you're having a large launch. Let's say you're having a launch that you're inviting 500 people, and they only have a PA system that could, that would only work in a room that could take about 50 people. Then you know that that's not sufficient. You're going to need more. So all these things are quite important. Then you need to check things like, how many microphones do we need? So the MC will need a microphone, I will need a microphone, so-and-so will need a microphone. You need to work all that out. And if you're going to get the audience involved, you will need to have a roving mic, which might not be what the venue has. They might have the fixed mics that you plug in, but if you're going to get the audience involved, you might need a roving mic, so that you might have to hire that separately. So all these things are quite important that you take care of. Now, as you know, passion sells. Passion sells. You've heard me say that many times. So on the day, get someone who is passionate about what you do, or who has read the book, to say a few words. Now, in my case, I had my editor. My editor's name is Toyin Onobowu, and she's the managing director of Heritage Publishing. And she was heavily involved in the whole process, way beyond the call of duty, to be honest, as indeed she was with my first book. So she's very passionate, not just about my writing, but she's very passionate about me and my message. And so she was the ideal person to have to come and speak about the whole process, about her role, about some of the problems that we'd had along the way, how we'd overcome them, and her vision for the book, what she was hoping that the book would achieve. And it was excellent, because, like I said, she was very passionate, and that passion translated to the audience. And so again, this is a marketing tool. When you have people who are passionate speak on your behalf, then that's a very good marketing tool, and you don't have to do as much marketing. Okay, so I'm going to take a short break here, because now I want to talk about some of the things that are going to happen on the day. So don't go away, because we're going to have a short break. And as you know, this is a live show, and you have an opportunity to ask questions, to give an opinion. And if you attended the event, the launch, then by all means, and you have anything to say that you liked or you thought could have been done better, then by all means, then let us know. For those of you who are listening for the first time, or tuning in for the first time, you can send in some questions on our Twitter handle. Our Twitter handle is @StarRadioUK. That's @StarRadioUK. Or you can call us on our WhatsApp, which is 07539 661 744. That's 07539 661 744. Or email us at info@StarRadioUK. Or if you're watching from Facebook, which a lot of people do, then just put your questions or your suggestions or your opinions in the chat, and we'll talk about all that when we come back from the break. Don't go away.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned in to the Bebe Means Business Show, and this is the very last episode of the show for the year, so it's a good job that you are here. Today I'm talking about how to organize a killer book launch. For those of you who don't know, I've just published my second book, Wealth Creation God's Way. Wealth Creation God's Way. If you haven't got a copy, and I don't know why you wouldn't have a copy, but if you haven't got a copy, you can get a copy on Amazon. It's £15, or you can get a copy from my website, which is www.bbclement.com. That's www.bbclement.com, and if you just go to the shop page, it is on there for you, £15. Okay, so just before the break, I was giving you some tips as to what to do to organize a book launch that people will be talking about for months to come, and people will be raving on your behalf. You won't even have to do it; they will be raving on your behalf. Just before the break, I was talking about making sure that you have a budget, that you pick the right venue, you visit the venue. If other people are going to be involved on the day, that where possible that you get them to go along with you to the venue. If you're going to hire an event planner, that you make sure that they go along as well, and that you talk through whatever plans that they have for the day, and that you are happy with the plans, and that if you need to supplant what you want on the day, then let them know, so that you are very happy, you're very comfortable with what goes on the day. Okay, so I also spoke about having someone who is passionate about what you do speak about the book, or somebody who has read the book and loves it, have them speak about it, because that will translate to those who are potentially thinking of buying the book. It will translate, and that of course goes towards your marketing. So another thing that you should do is brand it. Brand the event, and by that I mean even by way of colors. Make sure that you brand it. So when I was sending out the invitation for the event, the invitation was in the same colors as the book. The book is yellow and black, white, as you can see on the right hand side. So the flyer that I sent out was in exactly the same colors. On the day, the event, the backdrop, I had a roller banner as a backdrop. The roller banner was in exactly the same colors. The table where the book was covered, because the book was first of all covered, as you can see. Yes, thank you. The table where the book was covered also was in the same colors. So the cloth that covered it was in the same colors, yellow and black. And as you can see, the roller banner at the back there is the same color as the book. So brand it, because this is really, really important. Branding is very, very important. It makes it memorable. When you see it online, once you see the colors, you go, that's Bebe's book. You remember that. So it's important that you brand it. Yes, even the decorations were black and yellow. So those kind of things are quite important. Now, have an MC, and have one that is very good, that knows what they're doing, because your MC, like any event, your MC can either make or break your launch. So you want to have somebody who is intelligent, because it's not a party. So in as much as you want someone who is witty or entertaining, that's not the point of a book launch. The book launch is not there to be funny or entertaining necessarily. That's not the primary reason why you're having it. So you want someone that's intelligent, someone who can maneuver their way through the verbal exercise of being an MC, because like I said, sometimes things don't go to plan. So if things don't go to plan, someone who is not flustered by the fact that your program is not being followed in a military fashion, but they are able to ad hoc change what needs to be changed, and not lose their way, and not be flustered, and not make a mess of things. So you need someone like that. Someone who is well spoken, somebody who understands your crowd. Okay, so if depending on what the book is about and the kind of people that you have there, that kind of thing, if it's aimed at intellectuals, then you want an MC who is intellectual, who can speak to them on their level, that kind of thing. You need someone who can speak about the book intelligently as well. So it's a good idea that they've actually read the book. If they've not read the whole book, at least they've read part of the book or some of the highlights. Or if there's certain things that you want them to emphasize about the book, then make sure that you have said that to them prior to the date. So if there's certain topics that you want them to tease out, make sure that you've said that to them. Also rehearse with them. So that you have a good idea of what they're going to say, because I've been to some where the MC just went off on a tangent on their own, and you could tell that the author was a bit distressed. They weren't sure where they were going with it. You don't want that. You don't want any nasty surprises, or keep the surprises to a minimum where possible. So if you can go through it with them, rehearse with them, that's a good idea to make sure that you do that. Now, then you should have a program. Have a program. Now, it's up to you whether you want that program to be given to all your guests. Some launches, they do want that so that the guests can follow what's going or what's going to happen. I tend to like the element of surprise for my guests, so that they know, they have an idea of what's happening, but they don't know exactly how it's going to go. I like the element of surprise for them. But when you have the program, it's important that everybody involved on the day, from your ushers to your DJ to your MC to those who are helping you sell the book, everybody has a copy of the program. Everybody involved in organizing or who is doing something on the day should have a copy of the program. It's really, really important, so they know where they come in, they know what role they're playing, and if the program changes, everybody is aware that the program has changed. One of the things that I did, and I would encourage you to do, is I had a rehearsal, so everybody didn't just turn off. They were there a couple of hours before, and so we ran through the whole thing before the actual time, so that everybody knew what they were doing. If they were not sure, if they needed help with something, they knew who they needed to speak to, so that there was less disruption during the actual event. They knew where everything was, so they could get it without, again, disrupting the event, all those kind of things. The caterers, they knew where to put the food and all that. Everybody knew what they were doing. We did a rehearsal, and everybody confirmed that they knew what they were doing and how they were supposed to do it. Okay, so anything that they were not sure of was clarified before my guests arrived. Okay, so it's important that you do that. Then it's advisable to have some local celebrities or people of note attend your event, the launch, as special guests. When I launched my first book, I had a couple of local councillors attend. I also had the mayor of Greenwich attend. One of the advantages of having people like mayors attend is because mayors generally have local press following them around to local events. So that you get some free publicity. You don't have to pay for it, because they're there to follow whatever it is the mayor is doing. So I had the mayor as the chairman of the first launch that I had. And it was really good, because like I said, the press was there, and he had his own people there. And so you got exposed to a group of people that you probably wouldn't have had access to. So that's really good for your publicity. In this one, I had a couple of people there of high notes and within my people group, you know. So the chief launcher, as you can see, was Reverend Esther Abimbola. She's very well known all over Africa, particularly in Nigeria. She's an amazing philanthropist. She promotes prosperity, the prosperity message, quite a lot. And so she was the perfect person to have at the event, and I was just so honored. And I'd like to seize this opportunity again to thank her for coming along. She's very, very busy, so for her to honor me was fantastic. I was so pleased that she was there. I also had the president of IDO, which is an Africa-wide organization, very well known. He and his wife were there, Paul Iganda. It's actually a global organization, and of course he had all this on his website and on all his media handles, as did Reverend Esther Ajayi. So again, I was able to leverage on their platforms, which, you know, brought me again to the attention of a number of people that I probably wouldn't have probably wouldn't have known who I was, or the fact that I had just written another book. So these are the kind of things that you need to take into account when you are organizing the event. I also had Sam Henshaw there. Sam Henshaw is an amazing, absolutely amazing singer, songwriter, globally known. He just come back from tour. To have him at the event was fantastic, and he sang at the event, which was which was just, for me, it was just the highlights of the day. So yes, these kind of things are quite important. So if you don't know anybody, ask around if anybody knows anybody who is of importance that would enhance it, because again, they also would use their platforms and use that to promote you. Okay, decide how you want to promote the launch and how many people, being mindful of the capacity of the venue. We've just had a very sad event in the UK where one of our Nigerian artists, Ashake, was having an event in the UK, and sadly a number of people turned up who were way beyond the capacity of that event, and some people got crushed, and we've had a couple of casualties. And I use this opportunity to send out my condolences to those that died. But again, it's really important that you are aware of the capacity of the venue and ensure that you don't exceed that capacity, because it's dangerous and it's just not worth it. But it's important that you do that. Also decide, will I be promoting it on social media? If so, do I have the capacity for all the people that will turn up, because there's likely to be a lot more people than you anticipated if you have an open invitation. So I tried to keep it as close as possible. It wasn't always possible because a couple of people followed it themselves, but I tried to keep it as little as possible, as few as possible. There were certain key people that I wanted to have at that event, and so I sent it personally to them as opposed to just having it up on open social media. If you are inviting groups of people, you may have to specify how many people can represent that group. So if there are certain groups that you have affiliations with that you want to invite, what you don't want is 30 people from different groups turning up. So you could say, could you just send along 2 people to represent you, which I did. I had some people come along. For instance, I had Christian Millionaire's book club come along, and they just sent 2 representatives, and that was fantastic. And I gave them an opportunity to speak, and that was fantastic for them to come along. And thank you, Christian Millionaire's book club, for coming along. I appreciate your presence. So yes, so that kind of thing you need to know. Also, it's a good idea to get them to RSVP so that you have an idea of numbers, particularly if you are catering. It's important that you have an idea of how many people are coming along. Your invitations or your marketing material for the launch should have the necessary information on it. Part of that information should include 1, the venue, of course, the venue address. 2, the time of the event. Don't just put 2 p.m. 2 p.m. till when, so that people can plan their day, because oftentimes there are conflicting events that people want to attend. There might be other things that they need to do. So it's important that they know how long they're going to be at this event so that they can decide whether they actually can fit it into their schedule. People are busy, so it's important that you are respectful of their time. If there is a dress code, then you could ask them to adhere to that dress code. Mine was smart casual. But then, for instance, as part of your branding, you might want them to wear certain colors, and that's fine. So you might say, could you please wear something yellow or wear something black? And that's fine. That adds to your branding, and that's a good thing to do. And then, it makes it even more interesting for people who are going to attend. Transport links are very important, particularly if it's not near a train station or a tube station. Let people know how far it is from the train station. So if it's like a 15-minute walk, then let them know that. Or if you can't put it on the flyer, when they call you to RSVP, let them know that it will take you about 15 minutes from the station. That kind of thing is quite important. Things like parking facilities, if there's on-site parking facilities, it's a good idea to let them know. I'm not sure whether I have that on my flyer actually, but it is a good idea to let them know. If they're going to have to pay for parking, then let them know as well, because not everybody prepares for that. So it's important that those bits of information are on there. If you have a special guest that might attract them, then put the name of the special guest on there, so that sometimes people might not really want to come, but then they see the name of the special guest. Oh yes, I definitely want to come along and see or meet so and so. So yes, those kind of things are quite important. Okay, we're going to take another short break, And when we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the things that you can do to make it extra special and extra memorable. See you in a moment.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Hi guys, it's Bebe Clement and you are tuned into the Bebe Means Business Show, and today I am talking about how to organize a killer book launch. How to organize a killer book launch. Okay, so the format of the launch must also be decided, the format. Many people have someone read portions of the book to the audience and then comment on it or analyze the book. And that's wonderful, that's good. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I have chosen to use a slightly different format. I chose to be interviewed. Both my book launches, I chose to be interviewed because I think it helps the writer make a connection with the audience. And if the interviewer knows what they're doing, then they can tease out certain information that goes beyond merely introducing the book to the market, such as the thought process behind the book, or any kind of personal stories that you have that may make the book, reading the book, even more interesting or more appealing to the people. So actually, something interesting quite happened on the day of my launch. One of the guests, I didn't know them. They came along with somebody I had invited. But afterwards, he said to me, he said, Bebe, do you know what? When I first of all saw the book, I'd already made a decision I wasn't going to buy the book. And that's because I assumed it was going to be another one of these prosperity message books that you get in the church. He said, but when I heard you speak and I could see your heart and where you were coming from, I felt I gotta get this book. I gotta get this book. And I found that somebody might not have bought the book at face value, but hearing you speak and hearing the thought process behind the book and what it was I was hoping that the book was going to achieve, and the work that I wanted God to do through the book, not just necessarily make you richer, but for me, for you to have a richer walk with God, not just about money. It went beyond that. My desires for the book go way beyond that. So yes, it was interesting to hear that from him. So again, whatever format you decide to use is entirely up to you. Some people are not comfortable being interviewed, that's fine. Some people feel that their message would be better served if somebody reviews the book, and that's fine. It may well be that the person reviewing is famous, which makes it even, will make it even more appealing, because they basically sanction the book, they've affirmed the book, and they're telling people if I can relate to the book, or if I want the book, if I like the book, then you are going to as well. I would encourage you to have some entertainment to break up the monotony, because sometimes book launches can be a bit boring. So have some entertainment. In my case, I had introduced a range of products in celebration of the book. There were t-shirts and tops and stuff like that, and so I had a fashion show. Oh yes, so there you can see the picture. I had a fashion show. Those are some of my wonderful models, and you can see some of the products, the t-shirts that all had a wealth creation theme on them. One says instant gratification is a wealth hazard. One says I am a wealth creator, not a job seeker. And the point that I was trying to make with all this was to get people to begin to think about money, especially young people. We need to get them to think about money at a young age. And so I had a fashion show, and that made it very, very interesting. People said, oh, I've never been to a launch like that before. But I also had, like I said, Sam Henshaw, who is a global singer. he also came along and he sang, and he also happens to be a Christian. So when he sang one of his songs on his album, he then led us into praise and worship, which was a very, very special moment, I must say. And Sam, thank you so much for doing that. I wish you, I know you're getting ready to go on tour again, and I wish you every success with your tour. And by the way, you can get Sam Henshaw's new album on Tidy Soul. You can get it on Spotify on Tidy Soul. Amazing artist, fantastic voice, with a heart for God. So definitely get that. And you can get all the t-shirts, all the tops and the hoodies. You can get them again on my website. That's www.bbclement.com. If you don't remember anything else, bbclement.com. Just go there, go to my shop. There's lots of things on there. I know some of you are lastminute.com people when it comes to shopping. Listen, I got you. You will definitely find something on there that you can buy for your loved ones. You will definitely find. If it's not the book, you'll find the top. You'll definitely find something on there that you can give, particularly to young people. You can see that bag there that says Wealth Creator. That bag is made of suede and felt, very durable, very stylish. Get it for your loved ones. Okay, so entertainment is important to have at the event. Now, food. Whether you have food or not is entirely your decision. I would definitely have food at any book launch. But again, keep in mind that you are not looking to, it's not a party, it's a book launch. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on catering. You can hire a caterer, which I did, or you can just get the catering done yourself, depending on what you want. Just hors d'oeuvres, finger foods are fine. I wouldn't go the whole hog, jollof rice and all that. I don't think you need all that. Just finger foods is fine. Book launches tend to be very short time-wise anyway, a couple of hours, 3 hours at most. Mine was 2 hours, but we stayed a bit longer because people were chatting and I think they were just enjoying the ambience. So that was really good. But the actual book launch itself was just 2 hours. So I'm sure people can last 2 hours without a lot of food. So just get finger foods, and that's fine. That's fine. I think I just had things like spring rolls, samosas, pop-off, things like that, sandwiches. That was it. That was fine. So get some food. Then the actual sale of the book. Now, when the book is launched, get someone to launch the book. So have a chief launcher. How you choose to sell the book is entirely up to you. I chose to have an auction. And I know this is unusual. Somebody said to me, wow, I've never seen that before. But I chose to have an auction, and it worked very well for me because the first book went for £500 and the second book went for £500. So it worked very well for me. But if you're going to have an auction, make sure that your MC is comfortable in doing that, because if they're not, it can go belly up. They have to know how to do it, and if they don't do it well and the crowd isn't playing ball, it can be quite embarrassing. It can fall flat on its face and be quite embarrassing. So make sure you have somebody who is comfortable in doing that. Okay? All right. I usually have a special price on the day. So, for instance, the book right now is £15 on Amazon and £15 on my website. But on the day, it was sold at a special price of £12. And because I have more than one book, I had a package deal. So if you bought this book and the first book, then you got an even cheaper price. And then if you spent a certain amount, I think it was £100, then you got an even cheaper price overall. If you mix the books with some of the tops and the hoodies and stuff like that, you've got an even cheaper price overall. So have a special price that will encourage people to buy, because if they know that they're going to have to pay a lot more for it after today, it encourages them to buy on the day, as opposed to, I'll get it on your website, and then life gets in the way with the best of intentions and people forget. So do that. Remember also, when you're selling the book, that not everyone carries cash around these days, so you must have a facility for accepting electronic payment. So in my case, I had a card machine. You can have more than one. Card machines are not that expensive, actually. I think mine was less than £30. I got it from the post office or somewhere. It's less than £30. So get a card machine, or in the absence of that, have your account details written down somewhere where people can access it. I had that as well, just in case the card machine didn't work, because technology sometimes fails. So I also had it written, the bank account details written down somewhere, so people can, they can pay online, and then all they need to do is show you evidence that they have paid, and they can take. If you're going to have cash, make sure you have enough change. I don't think we had enough change at my one, but make sure you have enough change. So that you can give people, especially if you have prices such as like £12.50 or £12.99 or something like that, and you need the odd change, make sure that you have enough change. You will need people on hand who can help you sell the book, who will man your stalls and handle the money. Make sure that they're polite and they're friendly and they represent you well and they know what they're doing, and they have all the prices of all the products to hand. They can answer any questions that customers have about the products themselves. So for instance, I had a care sheet. For those who are buying the t-shirts, I had a sheet that shows you how to care for the product and make it last longer, because there are things printed on the shirt. So to show you how to iron it, so you can iron it inside out. You don't iron over the things that are printed on the shirt, so it doesn't spoil the product, things like that. So make sure that they have all the information that they need to hand, so that they can answer any questions that your customers have. There you go. So you can see my very able guys who are helping me with my customers. Okay, so people love having their book signed. So set up a table where you can do that. People love that. They want to have their book signed. When you're book signing, make sure that you ask people's name, personal. If there's something that they specifically want written in the book, then make sure that you do that. Otherwise, that you have something that you put inside the book, that you write inside the book. So I tend to write things like, here's wishing you every success, or something like that, or may 2023 be a wealthy place, that kind of thing. Something that relates to the book, but is personal enough for them. So I do that. One of the things I also had in the book was, remember that it's an opportunity for you to market. So I had my business cards inserted in the book or attached in the book, or have them on the table where the products were being sold, and put them in the bag that people were taking with them. Now, I had branded bags. I'm not sure if we have a picture of that, but I had branded bags as well. I spoke earlier about branding. Those, I'm not sure if you can see them properly, but those bags just in front of me there, they're actually bags. And they had exactly the same words that appear on the book, Wealth Creation God's Way. Also had my website on the bag, and then had my cards in the bag. So that's an opportunity to market yourself that you should not miss. Okay? All right. Then take lots of pictures, lots and lots of pictures, and lots of videos that you can use to promote the event on social media. One of the things that we asked our guests to do was to connect with me online there and then to start posting pictures in real time. So while the event was going on, people were posting things all over social media. I was getting, people call me and say, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was going on, blah, blah, this looks really good, that kind of thing. So it was all happening in real time. Remember, social media is global. This is all over the world. People are hearing about something that you're doing, an event that you're holding, about your book, everything like that, in real time. So, and people are still excited. So they say, oh my God, I'm at Bebe Clement's book launch. It's really good. This is happening. That's happening. Sam Henshaw was here. This was there. That kind of thing. And again, if you have celebrities, they want to take pictures of the celebrities. They're posting the pictures online. They took pictures with the celebrity at your event. This is really important that you do this. This is free marketing, free publicity. And different people are doing it. If you have 100 people at your event, and even 80, just 80 of them are posting things online, you can imagine the amount of publicity that will get. If you're going to take pictures, you may want to actually hire a professional. You might have a photographer or a video guy to come along. I didn't think it was necessary, because in this day and age, you have really good cameras. So I didn't think it was necessary. But by all means, depending on what you want to do with it, have a professional come along. You might want to have an album put together that kind of thing. But how, the decision as to how to do it is yours. I created a tag. I created what do they call it now? Wealth creation God's way. I had I forgot what they call them now. Not a tag. Anyway, I had something online called Wealth Creation God's way. So people would click on that and then tag that as well. So again, it makes it go further. Okay. Now, dressing. How do you dress on the day? How should you dress on the day? Well, remember that the star of the show on the day is the book, not you. It's the book. So don't outshine the book. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be dressed nicely. Of course, be dressed nicely. You're the author, after all. So be dressed nicely. You might want to dress in colors that are in line, again, with the book. So I remember the first book launch I had, I actually had this brooch, this very nice brooch that was in yellow, because the book was yellow. So I had this brooch that was yellow and looked really nice. In this case, I wore a black dress because I thought it went in line with the book, and I had as you can see, I had a black dress, and I had gold earrings that went with the yellowish gold of the book. So these are the kind of things that you need to take into account. Do something to get everyone interested and build anticipation. So in my case, I had a free raffle at the door. So as the guests were coming in, we gave them a raffle ticket, and then we had a raffle draw during the event, and the person that won the raffle draw got a free copy of the book. So that went down really well, and people found that really interesting. Then, of course, do a vote of thanks. You know, writing a book is not something you do just yourself. Yes, you write it, I understand that, but there are a lot of people involved. So like my graphic designer was involved, my printer, my editor, I had advisors, I had people who did reviews for it, the person that did the editorial for it, all those kind of things. You need to thank them. You need to thank them. They are part of your journey. It's like having a baby. Having a book, or writing a book is like giving birth to a baby, and all these people are your midwives. So it's important that you thank them. And I'd actually like to take this opportunity to thank those who are involved in mine again. Again, I want to thank my editor, Toyona Bull, who did an amazing job. I want to thank Dr. Olumide Emmanuel, who did the editorial for the book. I want to thank everybody who did the review for the book. Reverend Tunde Roberts, Reverend Esther Ajayi, the president of the Christian Millionaires Book Club, Blessing Theophilus Israel. Who else contributed? Let me make sure that I thank everybody, because it's important that I do. I want to thank also my graphic designer, who did an amazing job. That's Miriam Ijebulam, and she's the MD of EJ Designs, and she did a fantastic job. And all the other people who contributed to an amazing book. So make sure that you do that. And then lastly, have fun. Just have fun. Don't get so stressed with the planning of it, and oh, this didn't go right, or that didn't happen, or this didn't work out. Forget all that. Just have fun and enjoy yourself, because you deserve it. Writing a book is not easy. It is not easy, and so you deserve to have fun. This is your congratulations. This is your pat on the back. So just enjoy it and have fun. I did. I really had a great time mingling with people, sharing the vision with people, and it's just such a kick. It's such a kick to see people spend their hard-earned money on something that you have produced. It's such a kick. There's no feeling like it. And particularly a book like this, where I believe that God is going to use it to set some people free in the area of finance for generations to come. Not just this generation, but for generations to come. And I just feel so honored to be used in this way. I also want to thank, of course, my Heavenly Father for choosing me and for giving me the gifts. All honor and all glory go unto Him, because He is the reason. He definitely is the reason. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just to say that you can get the book. It's £15. You can get it on Amazon, or you can get it on my website, which is www.bbclement.com. If it says on the back that if you've ever asked questions like, is it okay for Christians to want to be rich? Or does God really care about my financial situation? Or if God is my shepherd, then why do I want? Or I pay my tithe and my offering, so why am I still broke? If you've ever asked those kind of questions, and a lot of Christians have, particularly in the silence, in their bedroom, between them and God, they're wondering what is going on with my finances. If you've ever asked those kind of questions, this book is for you, because I'll answer that and many, many other questions in relation to wealth and how can you create it, how can you build it, how can you protect it, and how can you preserve it as a legacy for your children and your children's children. As the Bible says, a wise man leaves a heritage, not for his children, but his children's children. We are to think generationally when it comes to wealth and the building thereof. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much, not just for tuning in today, but for everybody who has tuned in all year long. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for supporting the band. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you for all the comments and all the advice. Thank you for the shout outs. I'm so grateful for everybody who is, even if it's one show that you've tuned into, I'm so grateful. Thank you for everybody who has tuned in. Thank you to my producer, Archie and Frank, and everybody at Star Radio who make me look good every week. Thank you so much for all that you do. I wish you every success with Star Radio in 2023, and I look forward to working with you even greater than I do now. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful Christmas. Don't eat too much. Remember those that do not have. Be a good neighbor. Be a loving neighbor. Look around. Don't just be insular. Look around for those who do not have, and put your hand in your pocket and give to those that don't have. You might want to prepare a meal and take it to a neighbor. That neighbor that you don't talk to. Prepare a meal and take it round. Don't forget the homeless. Don't forget the hungry. Count your blessings. Be a blessing to somebody else. Invite someone that might be alone this Christmas. A lot of suicides go on around this time of year. Invite someone that might be alone, and don't assume that they're okay. Call people. Let them know that they are loved. Let them know that they're not alone. If they're going through a rough time, let them know that this too shall pass, and that 2023 will be better for you, for them, and for us. Have a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year, and I shall see you in 2023. We're going to be back, I think, on the first Tuesday of 2023. We're going to be back, and on the 10th we have Eunice Onyema, who's going to be a guest on the show. I'm definitely looking forward to that. She's amazing. She's a very, very accomplished accountant, and she's going to be telling you why you need her. So make sure that you tune in. Have a great Christmas. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.